Hello everyone, it is Wednesday the 3rd of June. Where's the week going? Wednesday the 3rd of June, and I'm just having a look at, going to do my morning market scan. Okay, so my position is pretty much the same as yesterday for the indices. So effectively, I'm still long, I'm still bullish. There were some really good moves yesterday. NASDAQ hasn't hit its all-time high yet. And really, that's why I expect some kind of a reaction, and that's the leader at this point in time because it's the most bullish. And so basically, yes, I would continue to look for long opportunities, and in fact, just noting on a couple on the 1 hour time frame that potential bullish candlesticks are forming here. There are some flat levels potentially needing to be broken through, but in other words, there's potential setups that may trigger within the next 26 minutes, which is probably around about that, it's probably about, I'll probably have the video online in about 15-20 minutes. All right, so that'll be the same for all of those. Looking at the FTSE as well, I mean, they all look really, really good. The daily is not ridiculously overextended. The 4 hour in some cases may be hitting that. Let's have a look at the DAX. That looks just so good. I mean, this is printing stuff. So, and this is very interesting because this type of orderly behavior can be an indication of institutional buying. When it's just systematic, that can be a case of institutional buying, which just means that just orders are being placed every certain number of points or every 10 minutes or whatever. But yeah, so interesting. Nikkei, let's have a look. Yeah, I mean, they look really good, and they're not ridiculously overextended on the 4 hours. It is on the daily, but it's not on the 4 hours. Looks really good. We'll see about that, because at some point I'm expecting that to pull back. ASICS looks okay. You could just see a bit of a pullback. Strong rejection there. Actually interesting. Strong rejection on multiple time frames. So maybe we'll get the pullback today. But so let me repeat that. It is possible we'll get the pullback today, but I'm leaning towards the NASDAQ pushing through to connect to that level. Let's have a look at the dollar basket. Okay, so as I mentioned yesterday, dollar basket is likely hitting down to 9,700. The 4 hourly looks good. A little bit overextended to the downside, but very slight, and so it's likely I anticipate that it'll continue downwards. So I'll be looking at the 1 hour time frames, 30-minute time frames, really looking for pullbacks into the moving averages. Here is a nice level of support sitting at 97.40. A breakthrough, a pullback into that would be really good to go short. So you may not have the US dollar basket to trade as an instrument, so no stress if you don't. Euro dollar's the next best thing. You can see here same thing again, a little bit overextended on the 1 hour, a little bit more so on the 4 hour. Daily for sure. So these might just, same thing, these might just be pretty much correlated to the NASDAQ move. That's not always the case, but it might be the case currently. And so they might just keep pushing through until, for the next couple of days. But I'm going to be looking for pullbacks, I think at least on the 1 hour time frame back down to the moving averages, and then looking for a long opportunity. Looking at sterling, it's not as bullish, and I do think it's also much more overextended on the daily. So I prefer Euro over GBP. The interesting, that looks a little bit bearish, but Aussie dollar is a little bit now overextended on the 4 hour. And the daily, yeah, but again, I still prefer that, I think, to the pound. Kiwi's looking a little bit more bullish. Overextended on the daily, but I think there's some promise there. Moving on, dollar yen. Again, it's not on my list, to just not really a fan. I should just take it off the list, but anyway, off the daily list anyway. Not liking the look of dollar Swissy. Just look at that sideways, no clear direction, too choppy, too spiky. Dollar CAD, at least not looking as bad as dollar Swissy, but also you can see, look at the curvature of price action. Angular, and then it starts to flatten out. So that's a sign there's probably almost certainly bullish divergence there. That's not going anywhere. If anything, that's probably gonna consolidate on the 4 hour and retrace maybe even on the daily. So for today, dollar CAD is gone. EURGBP sideways, not looking that good on any time frames there. Euro Aussie. So this had pulled back. This looked really good. I was liking the look of that. That it obviously did some great moves yesterday. A little bit overextended, a bit of a bullish candle forming there, and a swing low that's currently formed here. So my expectation for now is to see this pull back in towards 1.625, somewhere thereabouts. So in other words, I'm going to avoid it on the hourly. I think it's probably going to break that high. I'd start keeping an eye on Euro Aussie on the 4 hour. Euro Kiwi, same thing really. It's now overextended, starting a swing low. That's going to come back up towards, I think, 1.76, 1.77. Euro Yen looks good. looks good. A little bit overextended on the 4 hour, but that daily it's beautiful. This is primo. So this looks really good. I'd like a pullback into some of these areas, possibly on the 15 minutes if it does pull back into 1.12175. That's not so bad. Euro Swissy also looking good. So EURJPY is generally bullish, but this one EURCAD very messy. Pound Aussie, same. Okay, that actually looks good. So Pound Aussie potential shorts here. A little bit again, it's just a little bit overextended on the 4 hour, so there is that potential for this to start pulling back up, but that actually looks pretty good. But Euro, as I was saying, is absolutely, I think, going to do a pullback further up, so I'll keep an eye on it, but I'm expected to break the high here, and so we'll see. Maybe they'll push through for another move down before pulling back. But yeah, Pound Kiwi actually looks nice and ready to go. So Pound Kiwi, Euro Kiwi looking more bearish than bullish. Pound Yen looking bullish again, certainly overextended there again on that daily. Pound Swissy, not as choppy as Euro Swissy. Pound CAD. For the newer traders, when I was learning how to trade, going back even to about 2010, Euro Swissy, the Swissy and Yen pairs were very, very beautifully well behaved charts, very much so, and they were just they were cyclical. So you could guarantee that you were going to get very high probability trade setups on them all the time. And then they started to intervene. So there's a bit of history involved, but they started to intervene in their currencies because their currencies were getting too strong and it was impacting their economies. And both of them had the problem around about the same time. Anyway, and then of course the problem was they intervened effectively. Certainly the Swiss franc, the Swiss National Bank, SNB, intervened too drastically and basically broke the forex market to a degree. You should look up into it. I think it was February or March 2014. I mean, they did so many bad things, and so basically now the Swissy and Yen pairs are just kind of iffy across the board. Sometimes they move, sometimes they don't. But the Swissy, that's, if you're wondering why the Swiss franc is always so weird, that's why, because of their history. Nobody really wants to expose themselves to a Swiss franc. Basically, they don't want to do it, and that's been, it's going on 6 years now. But they used to be like clockwork. They were absolutely beautiful. You could just, and especially things like Euro Yen, Euro Swissy, there was just a cash cow by comparison. Okay, so we've got Aussie Kiwi heading lower now because it's encountered strong resistance here. So there we go. Aussie Yen looking good again. They're all the yen pairs are starting to look a bit overextended on the 4 hour, so there's a bit of concern we might get the pullback today. I'm just aware of that. I'll mention that in the description. Okay, like here for example, we've got that swing high massively overextended. It's Aussie CAD and Kiwi Yen, so they're all a little bit, so that's my concern really. I'll mention it in the description. Kiwi Swissy, beautiful trending opportunities. I have to mention, ladies and gentlemen, if you're wondering where the money making opportunities exist in general, it's when charts look like this. The only danger that then starts to come in is if the higher time frame becomes a bit too overextended, and you could see that by looking at the previous cycles. Right, so nothing here. Kiwi, Swissy Yen, CAD Yen looks good. It's the same thing. I mean, they're all looking, there's a lot of trending opportunities. We do not always get the case. Let's look at gold. So gold is definitely looking short today. Look at that. It wants to break further down the outside of that range. Okay, that's fine. Not too concerned about that. How's silver doing? Okay, silver is wanting to come back down. Okay, that's fine. Back into those moving averages. It may well want to do a deeper retracement. So there might be something more at play here. I'm not too concerned about that. But if I was going to take shorting opportunities and there are some flat level breakouts here, I would, let's just have a look here. Yeah, I would do shorter term ones. In other words, just one-to-ones to the downside because the longer term trend is up. Let's have a look here. So crude's still maintaining its tick here. I mean, it might want to do deeper pullbacks. 1 hour, I'd be cautious with lower time frames. We're starting to head away from the moving averages a bit too much there. So that's all the crudes there. How's sugar doing? Sugar's gone. There we go. That's my beautiful trade there. Looking really good. I'm very happy with you there. Coffee looking good to go short on the 4 hour time frame if anyone's interested. Bitcoin, let's have a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin failed breakouts of 10,000, strong resistance there, clearly a failed breakout. Did Ether also get knocked back? Let's have a look. Yeah, well, not as much. So actually between the two, Ether is actually a better trading opportunity right now in terms of overall, obviously took a bit of a hit, but it's definitely stronger than Bitcoin this week. And by the way, I mean, last month Bitcoin was outpacing Ether, so it'll happen. But the point is that right now that's doing relatively well. So there's food for thought. Again, same as yesterday. So it's a continuation in many cases, with the difference being overextension on the 4-hour time frames is a bit of a concern on those pairs. But again, Euro, Aussie, Kiwi pairs, Yen pairs looking really good, and crosses of those variations going long on the indices. Again, keeping an eye on those overextensions, and oil also looking pretty good. Silver and gold looking short though for today.